This is one of my most favorite stretches for those who have hypermobility in their shoulders or super flexible shoulders, because what this stretch is doing is not quite stretching in the traditional sense. What it's going to be doing is building strength within the range of motion in your shoulders, which means your hypermobile shoulders will be able to move better. You're going to be able to get more strength as needed and also give you that feeling of a tension release that you might be looking for in a more traditional stretch that your hypermobile shoulders probably don't need. I'm Bree Johnson of Heart and Bones Yoga, and as always, like, subscribe, make sure you share, comment on this video, but let's get into the stretch. Now, for those of you who have hypermobile shoulders, of course you're watching this probably because you do, it's really easy for you to move in a big range of motion. You want if your movement is to teach the head of your humerus, that's your upper arm bone, to glide well in its socket. And how we do that is build muscle and build strength and stability around the joint as we move. What we're looking for when we're doing movements to build strength and stability around the shoulder joint for not just hypermobile or super flexible shoulders, but for everybody who has shoulders, we want to train the head of the humerus, the ball and socket joint, the glenohumeral joint. Here, we want to train the head of the humerus, the upper arm bone, to glide well throughout your whole movement. And in order for it to glide well throughout the whole movement, it needs stability through the musculature around the joint. And we do that by building tension. And so when I say tension in this case, and you might be going, well, Bree, wait a second, I want to release tension. That's why I want to stretch my chest and shoulders. Well, my friends, we got to build a sense of tension first. So I want you to think about tension as more like a hug. So what we're asking the muscles to do, and we're going to do that in the movement here in a moment, what we're asking the muscles to do around your shoulder joint is to hug the shoulder joint. So it feels like that tension is going to be a hug throughout the movement so that the head of the humerus glides well in its socket. Let's see how that shows up in real life. So you take your yoga strap or a scarf or a belt, anything that you have around. And actually, before we do that, I'm going to put mine to the ground. Before we do that, let's do a before and after. So again, this is applicable if you have hypermobile shoulders or just have shoulders, right? Super tight ones. You're going to bring your arms up and then down and then up and down and go to the furthest range that you can bring your arms. For me, I don't have super hypermobile shoulders, so I can't demonstrate too well on that one. But this is about as far as I can go. And then I bring them down. And I want you to see if you can visualize that feeling of the head of the humerus, the upper arm bone gliding. Now, my hypermobile people watching this, you're going to probably maybe feel some clunking, maybe. You might feel that it maybe has a perception that it glides really well, but we're going to see if that's actually accurate, because now we're going to take our strap, just like so. We're putting our nervous system, we're putting our brain into our shoulders here and feeling what it feels like to start to kick on some of the musculature in the shoulders. So you're doing a little bit of that external rotation, you're reaching the strap forward, and you're pulling it apart at the same time. So notice how that feels. Again, I want us to really bring this into our brain. This is mapping the movement so that you're building the strength in your shoulders. Let your neck work a little less. And then lower the strap, but keep that work of stretching it apart. Lift it just a little higher above the shoulders and then down. And we're going to do this up and down a few times. You're gently moving the strap apart the whole time. And I want you to really see how much you can feel the muscles working here. You can breathe with it. We'll go one more time. Watching that you're not popping your ribs out and your chest lifting. Do you see how mine came up? I'll show us one more time here. I reach my arms up and my chest comes with me. We want to make sure the chest stays pointing forward and you're just lifting the arms. Whew. Good. I don't know about you, but I hope that really started to kick things on. Now let's add on to this a little bit. You're going to open your arms maybe a little bit wider. And then get that tension in the strap. The tension in the strap starts to create the healthy hug of tension around your shoulder joint here. And then you're going to bring your arms over your head. And if you need to, and so I'll step back so you can see what I'm doing here. So if you need to, you can have the arms a little bit wider. Now, if you did not create tension in the strap, let's do it before. So what we want to do is just have a relaxed strap. You're not really stretching it stretching it apart. And you're going to bring the arms back as far as you can. And so again, hypermobile people, and you can see how my ribs kind of pop out, keep your ribs down. And some of us will be able to get our shoulders all the way back there. That's not quite what we want. The head of your humerus is kind of going forward, and you want to keep it rolling nicely in that socket, in that hug. So now let's bring the hug action into our shoulders. So tension, spread that strap apart, and then slowly. And so now you are going to find a moment where you're going to stop. You're going to stop and hold, where you can't go anymore unless you lose a little bit of the work of tension. So again, here it is. For me, it's about here. My ribs are down, my chest is forward. I'm pulling the strap apart. And you're holding this. I put my strap down, but because I'm talking to you, my friends. So you're holding it, you're pulling, and then you start to add that external rotation. Your biceps are going to rotate towards your ears. This is going to feel like work, absolutely. See if you can work a little bit less in your neck. Good, exhale and release. Okay, roll out your shoulders, especially if you felt those upper traps working here. Good. But I hope what you started to feel was some kicking on of your chest muscles, the pecs, the latissimus dorsi, back of the armpit muscle here. And what that's going to do again, let's do this one more time to make sure we really have it. What that's going to do is start to hold the head of your humerus in place while you're building strength. Do you want to try one more version? Let's do this. Keep that feeling of tension, pulling the strap apart, and then you're going to cross across your body and then lift the strap up, cross across the body and down. So you're circling it around. But do not lose that sense of tension and external rotation. So as I do this, my biceps are still rotating out, the inner line of my thumbs rotating out, and then that's going to kick on the muscles surrounding my shoulder joint again. Remember, we're trying to hold, use the muscles to hold the gliding of your shoulder joint in place. Go the other direction. So these stretches become not about how far your shoulders can go. We know they can go far. That's not the goal. What we want to do is actually just reduce that movement and range of motion so that they go less, but they move better. They move with more stability and strength.